He died from his injuries. Look, we've covered it here. It was covered extensively on Fox News. But last we checked, it's been mentioned 0 times by CNN and MSNBC or on the broadcast news, 0 times. I wonder why. I've got some theories. Back with us is former Trump White House Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci, Cenk Uygur, founder and host of The Young Turks, and Kaylee McGhee White, Restoring America editor at the Washington Examiner. Cenk, this is basic media bias 101, is it not? Important that there's video here, right? Because the media, particular TV media, loves video. If the races were turned, are you telling me that this wouldn't be everywhere in the left-leaning media?
Yeah, so there's 2 elements here. One is what you're describing. I don't think you're wrong that I think it's a factor. And so sometimes people are a little bit worried about making it seem like, oh, criminals are African American, and so if you show this without context, it gives a certain image, et cetera. Now, I don't agree with that. I think it's a disgusting crime. I think that people should be outraged by it. Having said that, there is a second very important reason why it might not get as much coverage, which is, so when a civilian does a crime against another civilian, and here they didn't know he was a cop, that's just a crime, right? But when a policeman shoots someone, and that's an issue of perhaps systemic injustice and something that we can address, government doing something wrong so we as citizens can do something about it, and hence is a larger issue.
But are you suggesting, again, that the video isn't really relevant here? Meaning, let's just reverse it, right? Let's say there were 2 white guys in a car, a civilian, 64-year-old black man was riding a bike, hit in that exact way, exact same words. Be everywhere on MSNBC and CNN.
Yeah.
No?
No, I largely agree.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you're right. Now, it's by itself is, look, it could go in a lot of different directions. And if you had some of the things that we've seen, civilian on civilian crime, you reverse the races, I don't think that it would be that much of an issue. In this case, if it was 2 white kids who ran over an innocent black guy, it would be a major issue.
Right.
I agree.
And look, I appreciate the fact that, you see on the show, we'll call out right-wing media, left-wing media. Fox News covered it extensively. And I give them credit for recognizing this is a big story. It's a big media story, in particular because there is video of the incident. And you just have to try and play apples to apples on this stuff.
Right. And not only would this be covered on MSNBC, NBC, every single liberal network, but let's be real, Black Lives Matter would also be planning the next protest. Protesters would probably be burning down Portland over this. I mean, this is a huge deal whenever it's the reverse. And yet you rarely ever hear the names of victims who have been killed by black perpetrators. It reminds me of another incident of last year in D.C., where I live, where an Uber Eats driver was carjacked by 2 young black girls. And they ended up killing him in his car. And they ran away, and they ended up getting very little jail time. But he died as a result of that. And yet, no one really heard that story. It was a brief thing on Twitter, and it's really tragic. These victims deserve to be remembered, and I do think that part of it is that when we talk honestly about these things, when we talk honestly about the statistics, it undermines the narrative that we live in a systemically racist country, and that's why the media doesn't want to cover these things.
I know, but there's an important caveat here. If white guys are running over a black guy, it might be because of racism. When black kids do it, in this case, to a white guy, I don't think anybody thinks that they're racist against white people. I think they have massive problems, and one of them is apparently not caring about other human beings at all.
Is that any better? Is that any better?
But my point is that it's not at all better. It might be even worse, but it's a different social phenomenon. I think that the shootings and the killings of black people get more attention, not because of partly because of the bias, but not just because of the bias, but partly
because of the history.
Also because of the history, the systemic racism.
I think you're onto something. Let me just say something very painful. First of all, the victim, the family of the victim has to watch that. I'm aghast by that. I think you should show it, by the way, because we have to talk about it.
And look, different people have come to different conclusions. For example, on Fox, they didn't show the actual incident. I think it's important to show it.
And I agree with you. I think it's important to show it. I'm aghast by it. But there's something going on that you're identifying is a callous indifference towards each other. Maybe it's through the disassociation of a video game or the disassociation of life now, where everything's jacked into this phone and they're driving around. Maybe they're smoking weed. Maybe they're not. I bet you some of them were in an altered state to do that, because you're going to take the car and roll it and purposefully kill another human being.
Well, and I think we should
and then you're going to giggle about it and the thing.
Yeah, so there's something. Chilling.
So, by the way, I'm not even saying that's a racial issue. That could be a white person.
Real quick.
Yeah, I think
or
we
black
should also be
person.
honest that the people who suffer the most from this sort of callousness and indifference is the black community. Juvenile crime is on the rise in every single one of America's cities, and it's black kids who are being shot. It's black kids who are being robbed by other black kids. It's really tragic, and there does need to be a reckoning within our urban centers to really solve this crisis.
They won't
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.